Hi, I'm Adrian. Software developer by day, amateur chef by night, and now apparently a suspect in a burglary case. How's that for a plot twist? My day had started normally enough, crushing code at Evatech, grabbing lunch with colleagues, then heading home to my apartment in the Westridge complex. But the moment I turned my key in the lock, I knew something was wrong. The door was already unlocked. Inside, my place looked like a tornado had hit it. Drawers pulled out, furniture moved, electronics gone. I immediately called the cops, still in shock as I surveyed the damage. An hour later, I was sitting on my own couch while Detective Morgan circled my living room like a shark. So let me get this straight. You were at work all day, have 3 colleagues who can verify that, and returned home to find this? That's exactly what happened. He scratched his chin, looking around with narrowed eyes. Then I'm curious about something, Adrian. Why are your fingerprints absolutely everywhere in this apartment? Because I live here? These are my things? Even on the items that were supposedly stolen and then mysteriously left behind? My stomach dropped. What are you talking about? The jewelry box in your bedroom, emptied but left behind, the signed baseball collection, case open, half the balls gone. Your fingerprints are all over everything but no one else's, not a single print. Strange for a burglary, wouldn't you say? I felt cold sweat forming. That doesn't make sense. Someone clearly broke in. Did they? There's no sign of forced entry, and these items, he held up an evidence bag containing a silver bracelet. This was found under your bed. Pretty careless of the burglar to drop it, huh? That's when it hit me. The bracelet was one I'd given to Vanessa before our breakup 3 months ago, a breakup she didn't take well. That bracelet belonged to my ex. Detective Morgan raised an eyebrow. Your ex? My phone buzzed. A message from my friend Rachel. Just heard what happened. On my way over. Thank God for Rachel. Within 20 minutes, she was there, bringing coffee and sanity. This is ridiculous, she said after I explained. Adrian wouldn't stage a burglary. We follow the evidence, ma'am, Detective Morgan replied coolly. After he left, promising to be in touch, Rachel helped me sort through the mess. You realize what's happening, right? She asked, picking up a photo frame with a cracked glass. Me and Vanessa at the beach last summer. You think Vanessa did this? Think about it. What else is missing besides electronics? I did a mental inventory. The watch she gave me for my birthday, the leather jacket she always liked, and that rare book collection I never let her touch. All things she'd know about. I started looking more carefully. The more I checked, the more inconsistencies appeared. My work laptop, supposedly stolen, was actually hidden in the guest room closet. My passport, which I kept in a lockbox, was moved to a different drawer. Rachel, look at this. I pointed to the window the police said was the entry point. The latch is broken from the inside, not outside. Her eyes widened. Vanessa still has a key, doesn't she? The realization hit me like a truck. Someone wanted me to look guilty, and I had a pretty good idea who. I paced around my ransacked apartment, anger building with each step. Vanessa has to be behind this, but why now? We've been broken up for months. Rachel scrolled through her phone, eyes widening. You might want to see this. She turned her screen toward me. Vanessa's Instagram showed her with a muscular guy I'd never seen before. The caption read, "Moving in with my soulmate Tyler, #fresh start, #upgrade your life." Upgrade your life? Real classy, I muttered. But this doesn't prove she set me up. We need more evidence, Rachel said, putting her phone away. Let's start by figuring out when this happened. Your neighbors might have seen something. Mrs. Patel from across the hall was a gold mine. Oh yes, I saw a couple entering your apartment yesterday around noon. The woman had a key. I assumed she was your girlfriend. What did the man look like? Tall, muscular, with a tribal tattoo on his forearm, just like Tyler in the Instagram post. The next morning at work, something felt off. Co-workers who normally greeted me walked by without acknowledgement. My boss Marcus called me into his office before I even reached my desk. Adrian, we need to talk. His usual friendly tone was replaced with something colder. I received some concerning information about you yesterday. What kind of information? Someone sent an anonymous email claiming you've been stealing company data to sell to competitors. Normally, I'd dismiss it, but with this burglary situation, he shifted uncomfortably. The police called asking about your access to company funds. My blood ran cold. Marcus, I'm being set up. My ex-girlfriend is trying to ruin my life. He didn't look convinced. I've temporarily restricted your access to our main servers, just until this clears up. I left his office in a daze. At lunch, Rachel texted asking to meet at the cafe across the street. I did some digging, she said when I arrived. Vanessa has been contacting people from work. She told Diane from accounting that you were fired from your last job for theft. That's completely false. I've never been fired from anywhere. She's been spreading rumors for weeks. And get this, she's friends with Tyler Morrison. Should I know that name? He's a small-time criminal. Got busted for identity theft last year, but charges were dropped. Works at that electronics store on 4th Street. The perfect partner to help stage a burglary and sell off electronics. I spent the next few days rebuilding trust at work while Rachel tracked Vanessa's movements. On Friday evening, she called me in a rush. They're at Riverside Cafe right now. If you hurry, you might overhear something useful. 20 minutes later, I was sitting in a booth behind them, baseball cap pulled low, menu hiding my face. Tyler, stop worrying. Vanessa's voice was unmistakable. The police already suspect him. Once the credit card fraud hits his account tomorrow, he'll be done. I just don't want this coming back on us. Framing someone is serious shit. He deserves it after what he did to me. Nobody dumps me and gets away with it. By next week, he'll lose his job, his apartment, and his reputation. He'll be ruined, just like he ruined me. I recorded everything on my phone, anger boiling inside me. This wasn't just petty revenge. They were systematically trying to destroy my entire life. I slipped out of the cafe before Vanessa and Tyler could spot me, my hands shaking as I replayed the recording. This was the proof I needed. They were planning credit card fraud in my name. In my car, I called Rachel. You were right. I just heard them planning to frame me for credit card fraud tomorrow. That's insane. What are you going to do? I'm going to beat them at their own game. That night, I barely slept, drafting a meticulous plan. By morning, I had a strategy that would not only clear my name but expose them completely. First stop, the police station to see Detective Morgan. I'm not officially supposed to be discussing this case with you, he said, looking uncomfortable in the station's cramped interview room. I have evidence suggesting the burglary was staged. I played the recording from the cafe. His expression shifted from skepticism to interest. This doesn't prove they staged the burglary, but it does establish motive for the credit card fraud they're planning. So you believe me now? Let's say I'm less convinced you're guilty. The fingerprint evidence always bothered me. Too clean, too perfect. Like someone was trying too hard. Will you help me? Officially, no. Unofficially, keep gathering evidence and report any fraudulent charges immediately. Next, I visited my bank and credit card companies, placing fraud alerts on all accounts. Then I called Rachel to implement phase 2. I've got the spy camera set up in your living room, Rachel confirmed later that afternoon. It looks just like a smoke detector. Perfect. Now we need to get Vanessa to come over. How are you going to manage that? I'm going to use the one thing I know she can't resist, the chance to gloat. I texted Vanessa. Need to talk. Found something of yours during cleanup. Important. Her reply came quickly. Fine, tomorrow at 6. The next day, Rachel and I prepared my apartment, hidden cameras in the living room and kitchen, voice recorders under the coffee table and near the front door, my laptop secretly recording all incoming Wi-Fi connections. You think she'll try to plant something else? Rachel asked, testing the camera angles. Definitely, and Tyler will be nearby as backup, I guarantee it. Just before 6, Detective Morgan called. We've got reports of fraudulent purchases on your cards, just like they planned. All flagged as fraud? Yes, but they're using a sophisticated method. The purchases appear to come from your home IP address. They're hacking my Wi-Fi. Exactly. Keep your network open tonight. Tech Crimes wants to trace it. At 5:58, I took position in my living room, heart pounding. Rachel was stationed in the building's lobby watching for Tyler. My phone buzzed with a text from Rachel. Tyler just entered the building, staying in stairwell with laptop. Right on schedule, a knock at the door. I opened it to find Vanessa standing there, fake smile plastered on her face. Come in, I said, matching her fake pleasantness. Thanks for coming. She stepped inside, eyes scanning my apartment like a predator. So, what's this important thing of mine? Oh, I think you already know what you left behind. I closed the door, blocking her exit. Evidence. Her smile faltered slightly. I don't know what you're talking about. In my pocket, my phone vibrated. Rachel's signal that Tyler was actively accessing my network. Every piece was now in place. The trap was set, and they had walked right into it. I have absolutely no idea what you're implying, Vanessa said, crossing her arms defensively. I pulled out my phone and hit play on the cafe recording. Her face went pale as her own voice filled the room. The police already suspect him. Once the credit card fraud hits his account tomorrow, he'll be done. You've been recording me? That's illegal. So is framing someone for burglary and credit card fraud. My phone buzzed again. Rachel signaled that the tech crimes unit had arrived and were now monitoring Tyler's activities in the stairwell. You know what I find interesting, Vanessa? How my burglar only took items you gave me or knew about, how there were no fingerprints except mine, how right now your boyfriend is sitting in the stairwell using my Wi-Fi to make fraudulent purchases in my name. Her face twisted from fake innocence to raw anger in seconds. You deserved it. You dumped me like I was nothing after 3 years. So you decided to ruin my life? You ruined mine first. You were supposed to propose, not break up with me. A loud commotion erupted from the hallway. The door burst open as Detective Morgan entered with 2 officers, a handcuffed Tyler between them. Tyler Morrison, caught in the act, Detective Morgan announced, found him accessing your network, making purchases with cloned cards in your name. Vanessa lunged for the door but was quickly stopped by an officer. Vanessa Davis, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, filing a false police report, and breaking and entering. As they read her rights, she turned to me, suddenly tearful. Adrian, please, I'm sorry, I was just hurt and angry. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? You tried to destroy everything I've worked for. You wanted me to lose my job, my home, maybe even go to jail. I wasn't thinking clearly. We can work this out. There is no we anymore, Vanessa. There's nothing to work out. The officers led them both away, Vanessa still pleading while Tyler glared daggers at her, muttering about how she had promised they wouldn't get caught. Detective Morgan stayed behind. Well, that wraps things up pretty neatly. The burglary case against you is closed. We'll need you to come in tomorrow to make an official statement. What happens to them now? Filing false police reports, identity theft, credit card fraud. They're looking at serious charges. Neither has a clean record, so they won't get off easy. 2 weeks later, things were finally getting back to normal. Marcus called me into his office, his expression apologetic. I owe you a massive apology, Adrian. I should have trusted you. You were doing your job, protecting the company. Still, I jumped to conclusions based on rumors. I'd like to make it up to you by putting you in charge of the new security protocol project. It comes with a raise. I accepted with a smile, thinking about how differently things had turned out than Vanessa had planned. Rachel and I celebrated that night over dinner. To justice served, she said, raising her glass, and to friends who stand by you when everyone else believes the worst. She smiled. So what now? Going to get back into dating? Not just yet. I think I need to trust my own instincts more. I ignored so many red flags with Vanessa. You couldn't have known she'd go this far. Maybe not, but I can be smarter next time. More careful about who I let into my life. As we finished dinner, my phone buzzed with a news alert. Vanessa and Tyler had both pleaded guilty to reduced charges. They'd be serving time, not much, but enough. Their reputations were ruined, not mine. Sometimes karma needs a little help, but it always finds its way. That's the end of Adrian's revenge story. Would you have rejected Vanessa's apology like Adrian did? Or would you have shown mercy? When someone deliberately tries to destroy your life, do they deserve forgiveness? Or is cutting them off completely the only right choice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button and subscribe for more compelling stories about standing up to toxic people. New stories uploaded weekly.